name is Jeroen, and I'm working with Persistence. Today, I'll be guiding you guys through liquid staking and how with Persistence we're actually building a liquid staking hub whereby we want to make liquid staked assets the default assets of the proof-of-stake economy. Let's start with telling a bit more about Persistence. So for those who don't know, Persistence is a Cosmos-based layer 1 powering an ecosystem of DeFi products. So as said, we wanted to be the liquid staking hub, thereby making liquid staked assets the default assets of the proof-of-stake economy, which continues to grow. And therefore, we launched pSTAKE. pSTAKE is a protocol, liquid staking protocol built on Persistence that unlocks the liquidity of staked assets, thereby allowing you to earn staking rewards and remain liquid and basically use your assets in DeFi to generate additional yields. Proof of stake is a consensus mechanism, which basically allows us to validate certain blocks onto the blockchain. In a typical delegated proof-of-stake network, as we know it from Cosmos, people actually are able to stake their tokens onto a validator who then goes on and kind of provides that economic security to the chain by validating transactions and by proposing blocks. In return, the validators and the stakers earn staking rewards, and those staking rewards are obviously a nice yield that you generate by at the same time securing the network. So we started working on pSTAKE in I think it was December 2020, and basically from there on we started with the what's it called? The proof of concept, basically, or the MVP was ready in February 2021. Testnet was live in June 2021, and our mainnet was launched in July 2021. Now, so we've been in the industry in the liquid staking space for quite some time now. So we were hoping that everyone around us is very much aware of what's going on. So yesterday night, the Persistence team went out in Prague to go and have a look and see how well known pSTAKE is and liquid staking in general. Next thing is a little meme video. The subtitles are quite important, so try to make sure you read them.
Я думал, намного лучше будет это все. И очень плохая музыка, просто очень плохая музыка. Я думал, намного лучше это все будет. Сколько раз сюда ходил, было намного лучше, но на этот раз как-то не удалось. Во-первых, народу мама, музыка не очень. А что за направление? А? Что за направление? Направление? Какое направление? Что за направление музыки играть там?
So basically, liquid staking protocols allow users to stake their assets, and in return, they get something that we call stkASSETs. So if you look at the screen, you have the user on the left, you have the liquid staking protocol, in our case, pSTAKE, in the middle of the slide, and basically the user deposits his assets into the protocol and immediately gets stkASSETs out of the protocol. Now, what the protocol does is basically it goes on and stakes those tokens, the assets itself, onto the network, onto a set of validators. And they are typically well-selected validators, good reputation, and to make sure that at least they are staked with a reputable validator, which meets certain performance criteria. In some of the protocols, also in some of our products, we actually use a on-chain scoring mechanism where these parameters and these requirements are basically set and monitored on-chain, and the validator set is automatically adjusted based on that. Either way, tokens are staked with the validators, which will start earning rewards. These rewards will go to the protocol, and the protocol will pass those rewards on to the users. We've been talking about these STK assets or staked assets, but what are they again? So just a quick reminder. So if you stake, you know that your tokens are actually locked because you're securing the chain. Now, you're earning staking yield, which is nice, but you're also subject to an unbonding period, as we discussed earlier. The STK assets or the staked assets are actually very similar. However, they're like an elevated version of it. Basically, they do allow you to unlock your liquidity, thereby allowing you to gain additional yields in DeFi, for example. Of course, you can also instantly exit your staked position by just selling your STK assets on a DEX, where there would be an STK asset trading pair. And then lastly, the staking protocol could also come with mitigated slashing risks, where it's something we're still working on with pSTAKE, but basically some type of an insurance mechanism that, in case of slashing, covers the loss in one way or another. Now that we have these staked assets, what can we do with them? And this might look like a complicated slide, but it's actually not. So let's start with what you see in the middle. So big black box, which is the persistence chain with the XPRT token, where you can see the pSTAKE protocol, which is built on top of it. As you know, in pSTAKE, users can deposit and stake tokens, basically, or stake their assets, and in return, they would get liquid staked assets or STK assets that were issued by pSTAKE. And now this is where it gets interesting. So these STK assets, you're not just going to hold them in your wallet. No, that would be kind of beating the purpose a little bit. So you would basically be able to use those staked assets into different things to try and get more yield, thereby becoming more capital efficient. So you could, for example, provide liquidity on a DEX, thereby earning the trading fees that are generated by that. You could use your STK assets as collateral in a borrowing lending protocol, for example. Or if we look closer in our ecosystem, like we have Asset Mantle, where you could potentially buy or sell NFTs with STK assets. And if you look at Comdex, you would be able to maybe use your STK assets in a vault or something to mint synthetics, all possible. And the cool thing here is that these are just a few use cases, but there are actually a lot more out there, and we're really looking for people to come and build those use cases with us. And top of mind, there's a few things that you can think of. Is like, if you go into borrowing lending, for example, and you have yield-bearing assets, you could really do some cool stuff, like self-repaying loans, for example. You could think about things like a no-loss lottery, where you're staking, and basically the staking rewards are kind of put into a lottery type of thing. There's so many cool things that you can do because your assets are actually yield-bearing. Now, pSTAKE itself has been live for a bit, but we're also rapidly expanding into more assets. We're currently active with STK XPRT and STK Atom on Ethereum. That has been live for quite a while now. Later this week, we are launching STK ETH, which would be a solution to liquid stake your ETH. We're also in the last phases of testing on our STK Sol solution, so that will also come out this month. And then next month, we'll have STK AVAX for Avalanche, and we'll have STK BNB for Binance. And thereby, we're backed by Binance Lab to deliver that. And then, of course, we'll have STK XPRT and STK Atom in another version, basically, where we'll, instead of issuing them on Ethereum, we'll issue them on the Persistence chain, which is IBC enabled, again opening up to a lot of different use cases through IBC.
How do you differ from other liquid staking protocols in Cosmos, like, for example, Lido Finance?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I think Lido is not really active yet in the Cosmos ecosystem, but they're obviously building towards it. I think every liquid staking solution has their own types of implementations. There might be a difference in the way of the tokenomics. The token model might be different. The validator set might be different in terms of governance. Trying to become really decentralized, which is of course a bit of a roadmap. So there's a lot of different things, but in the end we're all trying to do the same thing, and it's really kind of making the entire market more capital efficient while still keeping everything secure at a chain level. So in that sense we're very similar as well.